fast, die young.
Haha, good evening. This is a regular spot from now on. Oh, just going to move that mic down here. Every Wednesday around 9:30. Going to say give or take, as tonight's a bit late. I'm going to do a little roundup of all the films and shows I've been watching. And I'm going to do this every week now, unless I have a previous engagement that I can't get out of. I'll be doing this every week. Sometimes I'll have a co-host and sometimes I won't, and I think tonight I won't. But look, a lot of things I want to talk about, so let's get on with it, because I've actually watched quite a lot of stuff. I've mainly been proofreading the Paratrooper screenplays, which is these are two screenplays I wrote for like a European Band of Brothers style show, and I've been proofreading those. And this will be dropping. I've got about halfway through, so as soon as I've done all the other corrections, it's going to be dropping in a few days on Amazon. So that's mainly what I've been doing. But I've been doing a few other things. Dickon and I have been running script workshops and acting workshops for the Outcast in London, and we are going to be doing False Accounts, which is the post office play. We're going to be doing it again later this year. I'm going to have more information about that on the next episode. So I've just eaten a big bar of chocolate and I have a feeling I've got some of it here. There we go. All right. Don't eat a Kit Kat before a live stream. Just telling you that now. Okay, so let's look at what we got. So I've watched a couple of great things this week, and I've watched a couple of I've watched one show that I thought was a real letdown, but I guess for the non-discerning, typical night, Sunday, viewing people, they probably won't be that, upset by it. But before we get on to that, I'm going to talk about a play that's coming out in London, which one of the Outcast creative is in. So we're going to talk about Grenfell system failure. So for those people who don't know, the Grenfell fire was one of the most tragic events in London. It was completely avoidable if people at the local council had done their job properly. There was a lot of miscommunication with the fire brigade, and the deaths at Grenfell were certainly preventable. But it was a fire in a tower block that got out of control. Inflammable materials, in order to save money, were clad on the outside of the building to make it look nicer, which is why it went up like a Roman candle. And Richard Norton Taylor, who's known for doing his kind of public inquiry plays, and Nicholas Kent, they did the Stephen Lawrence play, they did The Case for War, and I think one other one. They have done a previous play about Grenfell, and this is the second one. This is like part two. A lot of the cast are returning, playing the same parts, but you will see in the top left, in fact, first billing, because it's alphabetical, Shazad Ali, or Shaz as he's known to us all at the Outcast, who was in the London cast of False Accounts, is in the production of Grenfell System Failure. He is playing Hisham Chakir, who is one of the victims, I guess you would call him, of the disaster, who used to live in Grenfell, who lost some relatives. And this play opens in London on Saturday. It's doing 3 theatres relatively close to each other. The Tabernacle, it's all on here. Tickets, here we go. So it's opening first at the Playground Theatre, then the Tabernacle, then the Marylebone Theatre. I'm going to try and see it at least twice, certainly at the Playground and the Marylebone, but I might go and see it at the Tabernacle as well. They are panel discussions hosted by, there's one hosted by Grenfell United. You have Grenfell Next of Kin. I don't know who Lancaster West is. Justice for Grenfell, and panel discussion on cladding. Interesting. So anyway, but I urge people to go and support this play. I think it will be really worth seeing. You've got some fantastic actors in there, not only one of our own, but one of my favorite actors, Shaz Ali. People may also recognize Thomas Wheatley from James Bond. He was in the Living Daylights, and he's a cracking, solid, dependable actor. And then you've got a couple of new, younger people, and also some people I'm not familiar with. Big fan of Derek Elroy. Just going to say he's another actor who I've seen in a couple of stage productions, and he's just an all-round, very versatile actor. Really nice guy as well. So if you can go and see it, go and support Grenfell System Failure. It's on at 3 theatres in London. Oh, look, I had a little banner for it. Forgot to put it up. There we go. Quick. Why is it not working? Oh, I think my mouse is. I think my mouse is running out of battery. That's not a good thing to happen during a stream. This is going so well. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing I wanted to plug. And I think it's going to be very good. It's going to be worth your time. And don't. Well, that was entertaining. Oh, shit. Wow. Well, this is turning out to be a stream from hell. My whole computer just completely locked up, and I had to reboot it. So fun times. Anyway, let us continue. Let us continue. So I was talking about Grenfell system failure. It is a play that's on in London from the 18th of February until the middle of March, I think towards the end of March. It is a really good team behind the show, and I think it's well worth your time. So I'm going to see if I can edit that gaff out right after this this stream's finished. So still got chocolate on here somewhere. Oh dear. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff that I've seen, because I've seen, people were saying, oh, there's nothing worth watching at the minute, there's nothing worth watching. I disagree, man. You look around, you'll find stuff, and it's not like we're restricted to 3 channels back in the day, or even 4 when Channel 4 came along. I mean, there's a lot of places you can go and surf to look for content. Do people even say surf anymore? I'm not sure they do. But I'm going to talk about a few things that I've seen recently. All right, let's deal with one of the bad guys first, okay? So I saw The Catch. Now, look, I'm a big fan of Jason Watkins. He's an actor I really like. One of the reasons I like him is because whatever he does, he's always interesting. He's always interesting in anything he does. This is The Catch. I think I need to minimize that. So this is, I just taking a picture from IMDb. So you got Jason Watkins, Nuran Bernard, and Poppy Gilbert. Now, I mean, Poppy Gilbert's role in this is just completely one note as the girlfriend. By that, I don't mean her acting is bad. It's just that the role is very one-dimensional. It's not very well written. But the basic plot revolves around Jason Watkins is a father. He's a fisherman. Poppy Gilbert plays his daughter, and Nuran Bernard is the new boyfriend. And we know from the get-go something's not right with a new boyfriend, and that therein, for me, lies the problem with this show, because you kind of know from the get-go where it's going. You kind of know what's going on. There's some flashbacks to a previous timeline, and you really know sort of straight away that where that's going, where that twist is going, and how that's going to turn out. And there's really no surprises in this show. There's no surprises. There's no nuance in the writing. Now, it's a standard Sunday night drama, very much along the lines of Lewis and that kind of thing. I mean, it's a mini series, but I just don't think it's good enough to use that as an excuse anymore for poor writing, and just say, well, this is aimed at people who, what do they want to watch after they've eaten a meal on, Sunday at 9 o'clock? And I remember somebody saying that who worked for the BBC once at a writers' symposium, and I asked this guy a question when it came to the Q&A, and I said, would you agree Our Friends in the North and Holding On are 2 of the best British television drama series ever made? And he said yes. And I said, well, when are we going to see the likes of those again? Because they were very individualistic shows that took a lot of risks. And it's probably quite difficult to get shows greenlit like that now. I think mediocre crap is a lot easier to get greenlit, perhaps, on the basis of this. I just thought The Catch was really naff. And despite the presence of Watkins and some great supporting actors like Cameron Jack and others, just wasn't for me. I was bored by the end of the first episode. I got through the second episode because I knew I wanted to talk about it, and I got to sort of halfway through the third episode, and I was like, oh, fuck this. So, the problem is there's a lot of content out there, and you've got to decide how you spend your time, and a show has got to hook you in, and it's not just hooking you into the story, but you want to be rooting for people. And I wasn't rooting for anybody in this. The daughter's too whingy and stupid and naive. The father is made very interesting by Watkins, but again, he's not well served by the script, and it just wasn't enough for me. So I'm going to tell people, avoid the catch. It's not worth your time. Look, in my opinion, some people may love it, and I think people that like undemanding stuff on a Sunday night may well be well up for that. Okay, what else we got? So, contrast to that, I saw an absolutely amazing. I like my true story dramas, as anyone who knows me well will tell you, and I really like true crime. And this is about the biggest gold bullion heist in British history. And what we have here is the Brinksmat heist, basically. So it's Brinksmat robbery, which took place. I think it was in. I want to say 1995. That took place. A gang of robbers who were only expecting to find about £1 million at a robbery in Heathrow came across a 26 gold bar bullion that they didn't expect to be there. 26 million pounds it was worth of gold bullion. So then they had to find a way to sell it on the gold market, which got a bit complicated, and a lot of characters got involved. And one of those characters was protected by the Masons, de facto very high up police. And it's quite a complex web of deceit and criminality. It's a really good script. It's based on a book by and I've read the book by Neil Forsyth, who wrote a great book about the robbery and all the various characters involved and kind of what happens to them. You've got a couple of fictional composites in this, I believe, one of whom is Dominic Cooper's character, who is sort of represents a lawyer who worked for the criminals unknowingly, according to him. But then you've got some fantastic real people from criminal folklore in this show, and Kenneth Noy, or Kenny Noy, as most people would know him, was responsible for the road rage murder and the murder of Danielle Cable's boyfriend, which was also dramatized. So these are various stills from Gold, or The Gold. And I don't know why they haven't credited the other actress in that still, because she's fantastic. Quick advert there for YouTube. Emerald Elliott and Charlotte Spencer play the sort of two main cops in the trenches who are pursuing the case. Hugh Bonneville is the copper who is leading the case, does a fantastic job. I've always liked him. Jack Loudon, who originally I was planning on working with in about 2016, but that project fell through. He's really good as Kenny Noy, and it's a very different role for him. So this is a 6-part drama. It's available. All of it's available on BBC iPlayer to watch, so you can binge watch it if you like. I personally think it's really good. I really enjoyed the performances. I think it's quite a good script. It's got some nice scenes. It's not too exposition-y, which can happen with a lot of these shows. Yeah, I mean, just a really solid drama that's worth your time. Oh, I forgot to put. There we go. I forgot to change the banner again. See, when I've got a guest with me, it's a lot easier. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good show. So that's Gold. So to be clear, I'm not recommending The Catch. The Catch is a bust. I would give The Catch like 4 out of 10. I would give The Gold like a solid 7 or 8. Then another documentary, which I wasn't expecting to be quite so. Is the right word moving? I guess it is. I guess the right word is moving. I was not expecting this documentary to be quite so moving. And that was the documentary about Pamela Anderson, called Pamela, A Love Story. Now, I have just watched Tommy and Pam, the think it's a 6-part drama series with Seth Rogen about the whole thing about their sex tape and somebody finding it and stealing it and pirating it for money and all the rest of it. And that does definitely form part of the documentary narrative. And, you know, I mean, Tommy definitely didn't come off very well in that drama series. Maybe justifiably so, I don't know. Pamela Anderson has always, to me, come across as quite a sort of sweet individual. I always thought it was very good of her to be so game in the Borat film, to take part in that, you know. But this documentary is really good. It's very raw, very upfront. It's just a brutal, honest telling of kind of how she got into Hollywood, the first couple of people she dated, how it all started for her, and then the various kind of things that she went through. And I mean, it's quite funny that she said, you know, when she first signed on to do Barbed Wire, and then when she shot Barbed Wire, the two scripts resembled absolutely nothing to each other and no similarity whatsoever. And she couldn't tell you now what the film was about. She had no idea when she was filming it. She has no idea now. And I don't think she's alone in the Pamela documentary on that. Yeah, it was a really good doc. I'll give it like 8.5 out of 10. It's well worth your time. It comes across as very sincere, quite authentic. Who really knows with these things? But I liked it. I thought it was good. Worth your time. Worth your time. So another movie that I saw. Let me just shut down a few windows here. I have just watched. Literally just watched Empire of Light with Olivia Colman. Basic story to this is it's set in 1981 in a cinema in Margate, which is a town I've been to many times on the account of the Bembam Brothers theme park that used to be there. It's no longer there, sadly. And it's really about a woman who suffers from mental health issues. The only job she can get is at the cinema. And the cinema manager, played by Colin Firth, is taking advantage of her somewhat, her vulnerable emotional state, and kind of having a bit of an affair with her. And then she strikes up a friend with, I think his name's Jack, played by Michael Ward. Young, new actor, because I can't recall seeing him in anything else. He's very good. And of course, good old Toby Jones from The Detectorist is in there as the cinema projectionist. You've got a few other cameos from solid, dependable British character actors popping up here and there, and a couple of young newcomers as well who are very good. Now, I didn't think I was going to like this film, so I put off watching it for quite a while. I just sort of, it felt a bit kind of very in time for the awards ceremony, and a lot of those films often lack soul. They have a very award veneer. Hey, this is an award-winning film. Look at these great performances with these great actors. Here it is in time for award season. And a lot of those films, I find them quite vacuous and are quite sort of, you know, because they just feel a bit too product constructed. But Empire of Light, I actually thought was quite a beautiful, sensitive movie about a sort of not completely compatible love relationship. It tackles issues of Thatcherism and racism a little bit, and some other things. But ultimately, it's a really nice film. My friend Tanya Moody is in it, who plays Michael Ward's mother. I wonder if I could get her to come on the channel. Maybe I can sometime. Yeah, so Empire of Light, 7 out of 10 for me. Was good. Was not. It was good. It wasn't the greatest film I've ever seen, or in my top 100, but it was good. It was good movie. And beautifully shot as well. Beautifully shot. So I'm going to talk about the show that everybody's been talking about, and that is The Last of Us. And I've saved it to last because I won't drone on too long. Because as I've said to my ex-partner, no one's going to want to listen to me droning on for an hour. Now, currently with a 9.2 rating on IMDb, that is pretty high. We have got The Last of Us television series. So let me throw out a few caveats here. First of all, I have never played Last of Us computer game, console game, or any of the verifications thereof. So I can't say if it's a good adaptation of the computer game. And you know what? Even if I had seen it, I always prefer to judge these things on their own merit. So I try not to compare the Walking Dead graphic novel or the Boys graphic novel series to, television series to the graphic novels, because I've got them. And invariably, they'll make changes. And I think you need to evaluate stuff on its own right from the very beginning of the narrative. You've got to evaluate it on what you see on the screen alone. Doesn't matter how many books, comics, computer games there have been. Does it work with what you're seeing? Can you take it in? Is it good? Is it gripping? Does it tell a story? Is it well acted? Is it well directed? Well, the answer to all of those questions where The Last of Us is concerned is, I would say, an absolute 100% yes. I saw the first episode and I thought the first episode was okay. I liked the prelude sequence, which I was hoping they were going to do like a flashback back in time with different random characters. I thought that was going to be a thing every episode, but it's not, sadly. I think they do it for the first two. First episode was good. Second episode was a bit like, not sure where this is going. And then the third one kind of came along and blew everybody away. It was so different. And I when I say that it could have been, it's about two characters who ultimately end up in a gay relationship, right? But it could have been about two bikers who are as heterosexual as ever right till the end, but they still love each other, and there was no homosexual element or gay element, and it still would have been great. It could have been about two women, or it could have been about a young couple who make the stand and live this life. What made it great was the writing and the contrast of the two characters and how they made a life together when everything else in the world had failed. And I just thought it was really fantastic, beautifully acted by Nick Offerman and an actor whose name I keep forgetting, who was also in the Chippendales and season 1 of The White Lotus. So I will agree with some of the criticisms, which is that I'm a little out on Bella Ramsey. She is a very good actress. She's extremely talented for her age. I remember with her in Game of Thrones, the first scene she was in, myself and my ex-partner were watching that scene and we were going, who is that girl? That girl's great. Wow, I love this girl. How old is she? She's like 12 or something, but she's so good. And I knew from that point on she was going to have a cracking career. Not sure she's quite got the range to do this meteor role so soon. It's a big pond to be thrown in for a young actor to carry a show like that. Now, as I said, the jury for me is out on her. I haven't decided one way or the other. I'm just a bit unsure and I kind of need to see more. But the relationship between her and Banderas is a kind of surrogate father-daughter relationship. And the premise, for anybody who doesn't know, is, the world's fallen apart. There's not many people left. It's divided up into kind of zones of mercenaries and temporal government factions, and various other people. And this fungus which affects people and turns them into mad, crazy people, who in turn affect you and turn you into more mad, crazy people, has been done before. But this has a lot of shades to it that are different from other zombie worlds that I've seen. So I have to say I'm very impressed, and I would give it an 8 or a 9. Certainly I would give episode 2 a 9 out of 10. I would give episode 5 9.5 out of 10. Episode 5 was amazing. Incredible action sequence. So on the whole, I've been very, very impressed with The Last of Us. And again, just to caveat that, I haven't played the game, but it's ticking all the right boxes for me in the key areas. Good writing, interesting characters. The world is really well visualized. There's not too much exposition. It's got a good pace, really good performances. And the real drama in the show is in the humanity. And that's quite a difficult thing to emulate in a lot of shows. A lot of people kind of miss that. They go for the big drama, but they miss the little nuggets of humanity in these stories. Last of Us is really good at nailing down those nuggets. So I really like The Last of Us. I think it's a cracking show. I'm going to keep watching it. I said I was going to talk about Chippendales tonight. I'm going to do a specific stream about that, which I'm hoping to do. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of that. Which I'm hoping to do within the next couple of weeks, subject to. I want to do that with a co-host, and I've been trying to get one, and I thought there would be numerous ladies who would be lining up to talk about Welcome to the Chippendales, which is a 6-part drama on Hulu. You can also watch it on the Disney Channel. I'll show you quickly. Let's have a quick look. I wonder if this is my friend Maureen who's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, whoever you may be. So Welcome to the Chippendales is like a 6-part drama series. It's based on the true story of Banerjee and the other chap who ended up running the Chippendales franchise. And it's a story of greed and jealousy and sex, and pretty rich for the Disney Channel, by the way. I was quite surprised that it ended up on there. Anyway, the lead cast are very good. You've got, of course, your man from various Marvel franchises, Kamalia Najani. I think that's how you pronounce his name, and please forgive me if I'm wrong. The actor that I was talking about who was in Last of Us is Murray Bartlett, and he is also in he's in season 1 of The White Lotus. He's very good in that. He's also in The Last of Us episode 3. He's fantastic in Welcome to the Chippendales. It's a true story of how the Chippendales, as a commodity, came to be invented, and who were the people behind it, that kind of thing. And hi, Sir Clueless, how you doing, man? So if you're interested in your true story crime dramas, 2 shows that I'm going to recommend for you are The Gold, BBC iPlayer, and this one, Welcome to the Chippendales. So yeah, but I'm not going to recommend The Catch. I do recommend the Pamela documentary. I recommend Empire of Light. It's not going to be for everyone. The film that I was discussing earlier, it's not going to be for everyone. But I think we should also give a shout out to somebody today on the channel. I'm going to quickly do that now. So now, every boy from my childhood fancied this lady at some stage in their life, Raquel Welch. Her daughter, of course, appeared in the film Cocoon, 1984, which is one of my favourite movies of all time. And that was her daughter's acting debut, and she's very good, and she looks just like the mother. So Raquel Welcher was in fantastic Voyage, which I'm going to be talking about, I think, Saturday or Saturday week. And she was in 10,000 Years BC. She was a, sex pin-up icon of the 70s, 60s and 70s. And just fantastically captivating, I think encapsulated the beauty of that era, along with several Italian actresses of her contemporaries. And so sad to read that she had passed away today. We've lost quite a few big names this year already, and we've just lost another one. But unfortunately, time catches up with us all. It's a cruel master, and it's probably important to try and do the things that are important to you in the time that you have left. So I'm going to be doing as much of this channel as I can this year, and I will be back next Wednesday. I'm going to be on streaming late some Saturdays as well, with an American co-host, and I'll pop up here and there. I'm still moderating on the Critical Drinkers channel, and enjoy doing that very much. And it's a nice bunch of people, lovely bunch of people. We have a good laugh, and I'm hoping to get a drinker back on my channel again as well in the not too distant future. He was very kind to do a yearly roundup for me at the end of the year. So I think that's it for me. That's kind of what I've been watching this week. I feel like I saw a couple of other things as well. I saw The White Lotus season 2. I'll do a proper stream about The White Lotus. There's a bit of a kind of, get actors, take them to a nice location, film The Glass Onion or an equivalent show, and that's a bit of a trend at the minute. And there's some good product coming out in that trend, and there's some bad stuff. It's not all good, sadly. I also saw The Fabelmans. I've seen The Fabelmans. I've seen the Whitney movie, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Both of those were decent. I saw the Whitney film at the cinema, and it was really good to see it on a big screen. And I was in there with I was the only guy in the cinema when I went to see the Whitney movie, and I was crying along with all the ladies around me. So that was that was pretty. We were all looking at each other going, that was pretty funny. Yeah, so if you've even got a passing interest in Whitney Houston, you'll probably quite like that film. Yes, Seclulis. I did do a stream with Lady Gravemaster. It was about Uncommon Valor, and she also had me on for another one. I think I've done 2 with her now. I can't remember. Was it Lady Hawk? I think we might have done Lady Hawk. Certainly Lady Hawk's one of my favorite 80s movies. We might have done Lady Hawk, or maybe I was just there for that one, listening in. I can't remember. But Lady Gravemaster and me, we are doing a stream. We're doing a stream on Fantastic Voyage and Inner Space. So that's 2 films that are about adventures, about people going inside the human body in kind of little submarines and things. Fantastic Voyage was a big hit with kids of my generation because we all saw it on the TV. We didn't see it at the cinema, but it still stood up really well. It was still like a really good movie, and I really enjoyed it. I was the guy who asked about writing advice on the Uncommon Valor stream. Well, you know what? I should do a stream about script writing, actually. And of interest to you, this is about to be published on Amazon, and these are 2 episodes of my European Band of Brothers show, and I'm going to publish them all because I've written 7 of the 12 scripts. So I'm going to publish 7 of them, and that's episodes 7 and 8, which are about the Battle of Arnhem and the Battle of Crete. So you've got a British paratrooper on one side, that's Jacob Anderton there, and Dylan Farnsworth, who's a German paratrooper, on the other side. And that episode is called The Other Side, ironically. So, yeah. So from Small Acorns, things will go. I've got to start doing regular streams with a regular time spot. And I decided Wednesday night ultimately suited me quite well because I'm often teaching I'm teaching every Monday. Sometimes I'm teaching on Tuesdays. Thursdays, I'm moderating the Drinkers stream. And although he occasionally does Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. And sometimes I do my interviews on Tuesdays. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do a regular weekly roundup, I think Wednesday night's the best night for me. Sometimes it will be later, sometimes it will be earlier. And I'm always looking for guest co-hosts. So if you've got a YouTube channel and it's in its infancy, you want to come on and do a co-host with me, great. I don't care if you've got 50 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers. If you're a decent person and you've got something to say, and you want to talk about stuff you've seen that you like and you didn't like. I don't want to whinge about shit all the time. Okay, there's plenty of people on YouTube that do that. And I am going to moan about stuff that I'm disappointed in, but I want to also talk about the things I've seen that I've liked, that I think are good, that I think other people will enjoy. And so, again, I recommend The Gold on BBC iPlayer. It's probably my top pick of this week. Yeah, Secludus, no channel. Just that's okay, man. That's not a problem. I'm quite happy to have people lurk. Lurking is good, so I lurk on other people's channels quite a lot. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and no doubt there'll be more stuff to talk about next week. I do watch an awful lot of streams and things because I watch 2 to 3 hours of stuff before I go to bed because I don't sleep very well and I have to time myself out before I go to sleep. So thanks for tuning into episode 1. I'm sorry I got cut off halfway through. Hopefully the presentation of next week will be a little more perfected. But don't forget to tell the people that you care about that you love them. If there's somebody in your life that you haven't told that to in a while, pick up the phone and do it now. And I'll see you again